dari Siboro, and I will explain about domestication ideology. Domestication and foreignization are strategy in translation. Regarding to the degree which translation make a text comport the target culture, domestication is the strategy of making text closely comport to culture and language being translation to which many involve to the lost information from the culture of the language being translation to. Of retaining information from the source text and involves deliberate breaking in the compression, the target and preserve meaning. The translator has to make his or her decision and basis specific factor as the background in the relationship. The goal of the text is message to the source and clean purpose translating is the source text. In the tradition in target language, so translator to carry heavy burden. In one heart, he is forced to maintain culture of the source and on the other hand, he is not allowed to the pressure linguistic discourse. Of course, that's not easy to task that. The following is the positive and negative slide for foreignization in translation.
Okay guys, next I will explain the connection from the definition of domestication ideology. It is the target text-oriented and tends to close to the target language, as well as facilitates the readers to read easily. Given that it is the target text-oriented, the translator choosing this ideology may translate toward the cultural concept of the target language. When a translation is transparent and easy to read, it is likely domesticated. Also, it seems to replace the culture sense of source language to the target language. Domestication ideology. In this case, include 5 categories, which includes number 1, ecology, for example, flora, fauna, and the winds. Number 2, material culture, for example, artifacts, food, clothes, houses, and tombs. Number 3, social culture, for example, work and leisure. Number 4, social organization, for example, political and administrative, religious, and artistic. Number 5, gestures and habits. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nafarja Kuku. I want to continue to explain about our topic, that is adaptation. Adaptation technique of translation by using a shift in cultural environment. It happens to express the message using a different situation for a function from chemistry to hospitality, especially for the altering according to this situation. For example, search language is I remember graduation. The case is tears at my laboratory. Pas kantor yang kuberikan sebagai pengalaman, air matanya pada saat kami memahami dan seperti ia mau air kecil ke dalam semak.
Hello guys, my name is Priscada Mayanti Storus. Now we will continue for the explain my material amplification. The translate phrase word by word the
Laura Fitri Manalu will be continued to the next material, that is equivalent description. The translator clearly applies domestication ideology. This kind of translation appears because the translator replaced the term with a description of its function. In this case, the function of the term translation to its function as a place for reading. Function and equivalent description are procedures that can be combined to understand better a term. In a simple words, equivalent description consists in translating a source language or text or using a description of the concept it refers to in the target language. For example, in the source target, say, there was an awkward moment of silence, then the two men were ushered into the study. In the target language, suasana menjadi hening dan agak kiku. Namun, kedua orang itu dengan tenang masuk ke dalam ruang baca. So, I think that's all.
The conclusion. The ideology of translation is oriented toward the target language and in accordance with the culture of the community. The translator determines what is needed so that the translation is not precise as a foreign word. The methods used are adaptation, idiomatic translation, and communicative translation. Foreign words such as Mr., Mrs., Mom, Dad are translated into Indonesian. The translator tried to introduce Indonesian culture to the outside world. The translator is always faced with cultural problems. It is impossible for the translator to avoid them because a language and culture have a close relation to each other.
My name is Rezeki Tagalu. I will continue to explain about conclusion. Domestic ideology leaves their dreams, assumption above, and moves it entails in transparent and fluent style in order to manage the phonemes of the target language. It also serves invisible style of the translator, which means that the readers may believe that they read original product, not translation product. The translation choosing the ideology may state the technical elements of a text are not the essential component but its spirit. This ideology is also called as target language approach or reader to other approach. Domestication resembles the target language, implies consisting of four methods, namely adaptation, pre-translation, idiomatic translation, and communicative translation. The target language implies attempts to render the exact contextual meaning of the source language as readily as comprehensible as the target reader's perspectives. Conceptually, besides the language competence, the translator should have bicultural or multicultural competence. Ideally, the translator should have native like a competence, although it's very difficult to attain. In terms of translator method, the findings show that the translator applied that methods of word-of-word translation, literal translation, faithful translation, semantic translation, adaptation, retranslation, and idiomatic translation. In the translation, the source language cultural terms into the target language. The majority of the translation methods were oriented towards the source language text. Therefore, it was revealed that the translation ideology of co-recognition was more dominantly applied than the translation ideology of domestication.